Choosing a really cheap, small EV doesn't necessarily mean you have to choose a really boring one. Or so Hyundai thinks anyway. For proof, check out this car, the Inster. It's supposed to be fun, it's certainly practical, and if you're shopping in this segment, it might just be what you're looking for. My name's Jonathan Crouch. I've been testing cars for over 40 years. You'll find them all on the Car and Driving Car Reviews app. Here, I'm going to try and tell you everything that you really need to know about this car in a way you'll find nowhere else. Let me hand you over to our presenter, Colin.
Helped by its diminutive size, on the move you'll immediately notice that this Hyundai is nippy and agile, though response from the front-mounted motor isn't quite as peppy as you'll find with some rivals. Two versions of it are available, but both perform quite similarly. The standard range 42 kilowatt-hour model has 97 PS, which allows 62 miles an hour to be reached in 11.7 seconds. Or if you drive more sensibly, an official EV range of 203 miles to be approached on those occasions where you're in a lethargic mood. The alternative, which most customers will prefer, is the long-range 49 kilowatt-hour model we're trying here, which gains a supposedly perkier 115 PS version of the same motor. This lowers the 62 mile an hour time fractionally to 10.6 seconds, though as the torque pulling power figure of 147 newton meters doesn't change, you won't notice much real-world difference. As for the long-range bit, well, don't get your hopes up too much. The official figure of this pricier variant rises to 229 miles, though as with any EV, if your mileage is exclusively city-based, you might well do quite a bit better than that. Assuming, of course, you keep the car in the most frugal of its provided drive modes, Eco. The others are normal, sport and snow. Unlike with quite a few rivals in this segment, there are steering wheel paddles for proper brake regen control, with the fiercer setting almost enough to bring the car to a complete stop when you come off the throttle. Unlike rivals Renault and Fiat, Hyundai can't call on a back catalogue of classic small models from which to inspire retro design, so instead there's something quite different here that, in its own way, is equally distinctive. The brand calls the Inster's exterior charismatic, with its high nose and boxy proportions. Some will think it ungainly, others will like the combination of friendliness and ruggedness. Time to find out what it's like inside. Well, not as narrow feeling as the external dimensions suggest, which is a good start. The spacious vibe is helped by the flat floor and the way the front seats blend together in a kind of bench, with front folk separated only by a couple of cup holders. The other thing that quickly hits you about the Inster's interior is that in an age of physical button scarcity in automotive cabins, Hyundai has here gone completely the other way. There's switchgear all over the place, but it's all sensibly placed and ergonomic to use. Virtually all the materials used are from notably eco-centric sources like recycled PET plastic bottles and a bio-polypropylene material extracted from sugarcane. Unlike with larger Hyundais, no attempts been made to blend the two screens together, even though they're both 10.25 inches in size. What else? Well, there's an electronic handbrake switch, but you'll hardly ever use it because the car operates that feature automatically. And as you'd expect in such a boxy, glassy design, all-round visibility is great. If you can ignore the almost uselessly small door bins, there's lots of space to put things to. Let's take a look in the rear. It really is very spacious indeed in here for a car of this size, though that outer body narrowness has to tell somewhere. Predictably, what it means here is the lack of a middle seatbelt, which might be restrictive if you habitually give other people's kids a lift home from school. The two folk who can fit, though, can be basketball-playing 6-foot adults if need be. And if you've avoided base trim and got yourself an Inster with this sliding bench, there's loads of legroom too. Plus, the backrest reclines right back. Lovely. Let's finish, as usual, with a look out back. With the sliding rear bench fitted, luggage capacity obviously depends on the position of the seat ahead. Anything between 238 and 351 litres. If you're not using the rear bench in your Inster, flattening it in its 50-50 split frees up as much as 1,059 litres of space. That's where these flat panels come in useful. You can turn them back to protect the rear seat backs from grime and dirt. Need to take really long items? Well, there's the further option of flattening the front passenger side seat. You can also flatten the driver's seat as well to create a kind of metal tent for camping, should you be so inclined. If you're irritated by the on-trend name, then this probably won't be your sort of car. But if you can get beyond that, there's actually a lot to like about the Inster, assuming you're a fan of the high-sided chunky looks, which quite a few people won't be. Hyundai, of course, has no doubts, convinced that this car will not only carve its own niche in the small EV market, but also help the brand reach beyond it, rather like the Fiat 500 did in an earlier era. The Inster might just do that. It certainly shows that a small electric car could be a slightly more interesting proposition than you might first have thought.